All right, John Stanka here for ICGales.com, being joined by Sean Burke, head coach for the Iona golf program. Coach, how would you assess your team's play thus far this fall?
I think we've gotten off to a great start this fall. Our trip over to Ireland in the preseason was a great team bonding and experience. Getting us a victory over there was tremendous. We played some good rounds of golf with room to improve, but our scores have been moving in the right direction, and we're looking forward to finishing out the fall and excited for the spring.
You began the fall here on American soil with the Doc Gimler, which is a very tough course. You played at Bethpage, you played against very stiff competition. What's the benefit of playing such a tough array in your first match here in the United States?
Well, we want to test ourselves. We want to see where we match up against some of the better programs across the country and within this region. And I thought we played fairly well. It was our first tournament for a lot of guys this year and in college. So overall, the scores were good. The finish wasn't what we had hoped for, but we're moving in the right direction, and I think that's where we want to be. We want to move up that leaderboard in a highly competitive field.
You moved up the leaderboard right away with the Father George Hill shootout, placing first. What did you see in that event that changed immediately from the Doc Gimler?
The guys just played hard. We had some good scores. Matt played great, shot 70. We had some other quality rounds, but the perseverance, when things weren't going well, the guys hung in there and really battled through. It was a tough course, and the first time seeing it, no practice round there, so we kind of went out blind, and there were some tricky spots, and the guys just bared down and got the job done.
Last week you played in the Bucknell Invitational. You placed 5th overall amongst 17 schools, but you placed first amongst the variance of MAC schools competing there. In the fall, do you look at the other MAC schools and where you land amongst them in terms of scores, or is it still too early to look forward when the MAC Championships in the spring?
We'll keep an eye on them just to see where the competition is at. The best barometer is in those events. Some of the other schools in the MAC we haven't seen yet, and we'll probably see over the next couple of events, so we're looking forward to how we stack up with them. It'll be an interesting test in the MAC this year. It's wide open again. It doesn't seem like there's any dominant team. St. Peter's has played great so far, but I think we're right there with them as well as a few other schools. So we use these tournaments to kind of match ourselves up, see where we kind of early fit in, and where we got to work on our games to improve so that when we get down to Disney and MACs, we can be really competitive.
You have the Wagner Seahawks shootout coming up this next week. What are you expecting from that event?
Should be a great field, great golf course. We haven't seen it yet, so Sunday practice round will be a good test. The boys will get a good look at it, and 2 18-hole rounds to go out and prove it. A lot of local schools that we're competing against in events, in the MAC, and again in recruiting. So we want to go out and play well and put our best foot forward and finish this fall off in our last 2 events with good performances.
With the Wagner Seahawks shootout taking place Monday, Tuesday, you immediately go into the Lehigh Invitational, just a couple days rest in between. How do you prepare your team for that quick turnaround?
It's a quick turnaround, but we're playing some great courses, Saucon Valley and Montclair, and the boys are going to enjoy it. 2 18-hole rounds each event, so it's not super taxing as 36-hole days are, and it's a good format for our spring season where we go from one tournament right into the MAC event. So good way to finish the fall, as it'll be the similar finish in the spring. So we look forward to playing a few more good rounds of golf before we get into the winter.
Oisin, you guys have been competitive thus far this fall, playing some really tough courses. You yourself have been playing very well. So how would you assess the fall overall from a team perspective and then your own personal performance?
I think personally it's just nice to get a few good results under your belt, especially after last year. It was a bit tough, so coming into this year, we definitely had a different vibe. We were looking forward to it. So getting a few good rounds under our belt was definitely good.
Thus far this season, you've played in various type of events. You've had match play over in Ireland. You had a 2-round event. You had a 1-round event at the Father George Hill shootout. Do you have a preference as to what type you like to play the most?
I prefer match play, just from growing up playing it a lot. It's also easier if you make a mess with one hole. It doesn't really follow through. So that's really, for me, my preference.
How much do mind games come into play with match play in terms of giving someone that one short putt, say, oh, you can have that one or not? Is that definitely part of the game?
Oh yeah, big time. I think mind games comes into it a lot. You're trying to get them riled up and get them angry while you're trying to remain calm, because if you can get them mad, then they're going to make a mess of it. And it's just all about getting into their head.
Sometimes you guys have to play 36 holes in one day, and speaking personally, that would be a mental grind for me, and it'd be impossible. How do you guys manage to do that and perform well throughout those 36 holes?
It's tough. You just got to keep your focus, keep trying to strike the ball well, and just take every shot as it comes. If you keep thinking too far ahead or too far behind, you're just going to lose it. Eating well, nutrition is very big on the golf course. Drinking lots of water and staying hydrated is massive.
Thus far, you've had 2 top 30 performances this year personally. How have you elevated your game from last year?
I've just been working hard, just trying to get every part of the game better. Coming in this year, didn't really set any solid objectives, but just trying to make a good swing over every shot, and just hopefully the scores will come with that.
This weekend, you have the Wagner Seahawks shootout. It's going to be the first time you're seeing this course. You have the practice round on Sunday before the competition begins. What are you expecting from the event? And has Coach Burke given you any tips about the course and what to expect?
No, Coach Burke's given me no tips, surprisingly. No, just looking forward to seeing a new course. It's great over here getting to see different types of golf courses, so definitely looking forward to this one.
All right, Oisin, thanks and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.